But just to say that, you know, I've been in post now for 3 months, and when I did my sort of first sort of public speech was actually to the RESI conference a few weeks ago in Newport. I don't know, any of you go to the RESI conference at all? Okay, so you will know, sir, that when I was introduced by Mark Easton from the BBC, who was comparing the whole thing, he said, well, you know, there have been a lot of housing ministers over the years. Here's another one. And he said, you know, the average tenure of a housing minister over the past 12 years has been 11 months. And then he welcomed me up to speak, and he said, Minister, by my count, you've got another 200 days left in office. Now, I want to be clear, is that I hope to be in office for a lot longer. And the reason for that is that we have got a fantastic housing white paper, which my predecessor, Gavin Barwell, had a huge part in putting together, which was published in February, and we are working our way through it and making sure that we implement it, because I think it is exactly what it says on the cover. It is a blueprint for fixing the broken housing market. Now, of course, I have had a unique experience in some ways, one that I haven't particularly welcomed, but a unique experience as housing minister in the sense that on day 2 of my getting the job, we had the terrible tragedy at Grenfell. And it's been said before, but you know, the fact that something like this happened in the UK, in our capital city, is, I mean, that just should not have happened, and I hope something like this will never happen again. We've been doing a lot of work, obviously, in trying to assist those who have been directly affected by this tragedy, but of course also then, you know, testing buildings across the country in terms of the cladding, but also looking at you know, social housing. So I think what has happened at Grenfell has raised a lot of questions within the housing community, which we need to answer. And as you know, we've announced there is going to be a social housing green paper, and I will be starting next week effectively on a tour, I think that's the best way of describing it, across the country to talk to social housing tenants, to understand the issues that are important for them, you know, everything from safety to the quality of buildings, to looking at issues around, you know, how they interact with their landlords. So there is a piece of work that we need to do, and then obviously that needs to inform you know, the national way that we take this whole sort of process forward. But for me, what's been really incredibly important is, in coming into this job, is looking at this, and I think the exam question that we have to answer is that how do we make the housing system fairer, so that in 2022, when there is another general election, people say that actually, yes, this Conservative government delivered a fairer housing system. And that's being fair on people who are looking to buy, fair on those who are looking to rent, and actually fair also on those who are looking to build the houses. So we've had an announcement today on Help to Buy, which I think has been very welcomed by the industry, another £10 billion, delivering another 135,000 homes, which I think is good news. But you also heard yesterday from the Secretary of State some of the things that we're going to be doing in terms of improving the private rented sector from the perspective of tenants. And what's been very interesting is that the measures that were set out yesterday, so you know, looking at things like redress schemes, looking at making sure that there is some sort of regulation of the letting sector, making sure that, you know, we're looking on housing courts as an idea. I mean, all of that actually has been universally welcomed. So whether you're a tenant organisation or indeed those representing landlords and letting agents, and I think that's been really good. The other issue, of course, is around affordability. Now, the Help to Buy, of course, is about addressing affordability in terms of people being able to buy the homes that are out there. But at the end of the day, you know, this is really quite simple. We just need to build more homes. And whether that's homes to buy or homes to rent, we just need to build more homes. The Housing White Paper has identified that we need to be building around 250,000 homes a year. Now, I think I hope, very much hope, that we will be able to do this. And this is about diversifying, you know, how house building takes place. So you've got the big builders who are delivering a lot of houses, and of course we can do more to encourage them to deliver faster, so being more transparent on build-out rates, making sure that when planning permissions are given, local authorities can require those to be started, not within 3 years, but possibly in 2 years. So there is stuff that we can do in terms of that market. But actually what we just need to do is to get diversification going. And that means looking at stimulating the small and medium-sized builders. And that's the one thing that people always tell me in the industry is that, you know, after every cycle downturn, you get back and actually there are less small and medium-sized builders. And I think the two things that they always ask when I talk to them, one is finance and the other is land. So in terms of finance, those of you involved with small and medium-sized builders will know that we've got £3 billion home building fund. I think that's been pretty successful in helping small and medium-sized builders. And in terms of sites, what we've also said that in the Housing White Paper is that we will want to see local authorities coming forward in their plans with at least 10% of sites being half a hectare or smaller. And again, I think that is going to help. So this is about not just affordability for those who want to buy, but effectively finance for those who want to build as well. You've got you know, local authorities, of course, building homes. We've got over £7 billion committed up to 2021 in terms of the affordable housing programme. And actually, there are lots of really innovative local or housing associations. So, you know, you've got people like L&Q. I've just spoken with David Montague on a panel a few minutes ago. And they are doing really innovative work where they will have a model. They build homes. A portion of those homes are homes for private sale. And that helps to fund some of the affordable homes that they are building as well. So I think there's lots of models. And you know, the other area is custom building. I don't know whether any of you have looked at custom building, but I'm really excited about the idea of driving forward custom building. And right now we have 10,000 homes every year in this country which are custom or self-built. If we were doing it at the same rate as in Central Europe, you would be looking at 60,000 homes a year. And at that sort of level, you're starting to make a real difference. And then, of course, there's public sector land. Land that we as government own, land that local authorities own, and I think through accelerated construction we could be doing a lot more supporting small and medium-sized builders, but making sure that we're then deploying the asset that we actually have control over. Lots of things I think that we can be doing. But one final point I want to make, which is about quality. And I know, Peter, as part of your discussion today, I think modern method of construction, revolutionizing UK house building, I absolutely think there is an opportunity to do that. So I went to Graven Hill a few weeks ago. Any of you know Graven Hill? No? Well, you should. Oh, yes, one person. I think you should. If you don't, I'm sure there'll be other sites that you're aware of. But Graven Hill is in Bicester, and it is a site which is a former MOD land where they're custom building homes. And they are talking about making sure that you also have modern methods construction with sort of factories based on site, and it's really, really exciting. And you're getting to the stage where you're getting homes which are being built. People are being helped to design the type of home they want to live in, and actually people are really excited by that. So it all comes back to the point about, you know, will local people accept housing? And in my view, absolutely, local people are willing to accept housing. If it looks right, they've had a say in where it should go, and also there is the infrastructure to support that housing. So we've got the Housing Infrastructure Fund, which is just closed for bids, £2.3 billion, local authorities have been applying. And again, that money is going to help unlock housing. I think the overall message from my perspective, though, is that this has to be a collaborative process. I think for too long there has been, you know, combat, if I can say, in the system. We have to have a process where developers are taking local people with them, local authorities are giving planning permissions faster, and of course we can talk about that in the Q&A perhaps, and at the end of the day, government is also helping to stimulate diversification in the housing market. And I think if we can do all of that, we will be successful and we will end up delivering the 250,000 homes a year that we need. Thank you.